Welcome back to New Rockstars, I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of Marvel's What If an Immersive Story. This is the What If immersive gameplay experience released on the Apple Vision Pro. It is a really good episode of Marvel's What If, involving Thanos and Wong, the Watcher, and many other surprise characters, and it's like an episode you can play inside of. You control the Infinity Stones, and depending on your choices, it leads to an exclusive clip from Deadpool and Wolverine. This video was sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes launching your own website a breeze. So the team at Apple and ILM Immersive were nice to let me borrow a Vision Pro to try this out. So I'm going to recap the full plot of this and break down the Marvel Easter eggs, and basically what happens in it. Is the story canon? Well, I don't know. Is any episode of What If canon? Maybe not, but they're really cool. So let's dive into another reality with these things. And spoiler warning, because I'm just gonna break down everything that happens in it. Join me. Okay, so after you pop on your Vision Pro, you boot up the app, you start the experience, you are plunged into this dark space where you hear the voice of Vision?
How far would you go to protect what you hold dear? Is there any cost you wouldn't pay? Most of us would be willing to do anything. Sadly, fate rarely affords us that choice.
And you see the 6 Infinity Stones swirling into existence. Why are we hearing Vision? Well, maybe Vision Pro. But, we're reminded of Vision's attachment to one of these 6 stones, the Mind Stone. And when he's separated from it, like in WandaVision, he fades from existence and enters what I assume is this void we are now in. Now, if you're ever disoriented with the Vision Pro requires you to scan your own hands so that you can look down at them through your goggles and see your own hands. And that includes, for me, my wedding ring. So I know I'm still me, and my soulmate is still my wife. And wait a minute, is Vision talking about his soulmate? Oh, more on that later. So then we're zipped into the Marvel Studios fanfare with swapped in characters and moments from What If Season 2, including Happy Hogan's The Freak version of the Hulk, as well as Tony Sakar Hulkbuster armor, Star-Lord T'Challa, Cohorty, 80s Bill Foster, Red Guardian, Strange Supreme, and Captain Carter. And what's really cool here is the letters of Marvel now surround you so that you can look around and see all the cutscenes, like Hela training in Talo, Party Thor fighting Carol, Hydra Stomper Steve. And because it's a Vision Pro, you can actually walk around into different parts of it and look at different parts of it. This is starting to become a product review. I just feel like ILM Immersive designed this app so that Erik Voss from New Rockstars could walk around and look at different parts of the fanfare from the inside of it. Okay, next you're suspended in space as the voice of the Watcher narrates the time, space, reality opening sequence from What If, where you see broken shards of other vignettes from Season 1 and Season 2 moments. But then the Watcher appears in your home, yikes, and it's labeled Earth Present Day.
But I cannot, must not intervene. That's where you come in. Your world is facing an unprecedented threat. Multiversal villains have broken from their destinies, altering their fate. If not corrected, it could destroy not only their reality, but yours as well.
So we see Thanos, young Hela, and a figure with his face and wrappings. The Watcher says that they're after the Infinity Stones, but he singles out the Soul Stone.
The Soul Stone is special. Prophecy speaks of the Soul Stone choosing a hero, and out of every single life, every soul in the multiverse, you have been chosen.
Ah, yes, you are a prophesied chosen one to participate in the story. And by prophecy, that means the forces of capitalism selected your parents to set you up with a trust fund so that you could afford a Vision Pro. So the Watcher brings Wong in through a sling ring portal, and he has the Spells of Agamotto book.
I trust this should make us even for that business on the astral plane. Don't you remember?
I'm gonna assume Wong used the Runes of Kafkal memory spell to erase everyone's memories of something weird the Watcher did on the astral plane, because Wong did tell Doctor Strange that he used that spell all the time in Spider-Man No Way Home. So Wong is reluctant to give the power to wield the Infinity Stones to us, but gives in.
Long before he forged the Eye, the great sorcerer Agamotto created the Hand of Agamotto. It allows the chosen sorcerer to use the stones in every reality across the multiverse.
The implication is that this is a sorcery-based Infinity Gauntlet that Agamotto realized was too powerful and then limited the container of Infinity Stone to just one at a time, like the Eye of Agamotto. You learn that to take a new stone, you just hold out your open palm, and every time I did this, I was like, money please, gimme, 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 gimme.
Money, please. Money, please. please. Morning.
So then Wong portals you to New York Timeline 724. It's a post-apocalyptic New York with crags just floating in the air, and you see over to the left the ruins of 177A Bleecker Street. That is the Sanctum Sanctorum. And then on the right is a geometric shape that almost reminds me of something from Thor: The Dark World. Like it's kind of like a different version of the column that the ether was kept in, but instead of the ether reality stone, it is the space stone. And I wonder if like there's different containers of the cosmic radiation depending on the stone. Like the orb that contained the power stone is like perfectly spherical. This one has a different shape to it. Wong teaches you how to make a fist to conjure a shield, and I definitely got hit by a few plasmoids in this part because I was trying to figure out what that yellow newspaper bin was over on the far right. But then you money please the space stone.
You now have control over the very fabric of space. Oh, Ancient One, forgive me. And your first task shall be to clean up my mess.
So you learn how you have to hold out your hand, close the fist to grab something, and then open it to release in the right slot. I'm super clumsy. I never really got this one right. But then Wong teaches you the awesome spell of sealing, and you really feel like a sorcerer doing this one.
With this, you'll be taking a life and trapping it in the Soul Stone for eternity.
I love it. Wong drops in a statue of himself that would be in front of the Sanctum because it's just like the statue of Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness. The Watcher takes you to your first mission with Thanos. We see Thanos in another reality with Gamora and Nebula snapping all 6 stones, but the Watcher shows another reality where he is a criminal on trial on the planet of Titan. And for the first time, we see like kind of the judicial system of Titan society. Captain Marvel appears as a Centurion for the Nova Corps. She was his arresting officer. And then we see Eros, aka Star Fox, Thanos' brother, who is played by Harry Styles in Eternals. He appears to represent his brother.
He attacked Xandar in an attempt to steal the Reality Stone. Well, failed attempt.
Your Honor, my brother is deeply remorseful. His sole concern, as is all of ours, is the well-being of Titan. And my father would be happy to support that well-being.
So in this reality, on Xandar, the Reality Stone was hidden, not the Power Stone like in the MCU. The Reality Stone is kept in the same chamber that the Ether was kept in the events of Thor: The Dark World when it was brought to the Collector, and Eros refers to his and Thanos' father, Alars, who's part of eternal royalty and the son of Kronos. Thanos is not remorseful, he breaks free and steals the Reality Stone, and then you join the party. Titan Timeline 351. The spoked ship structures of Titan can be seen outside the window, but then Thanos uses the Reality Stone to warp the courtroom into a wreck. Centurion Danvers attacks, causing the stones to split up, so you have to grab the pieces and dump them into the container, and if you suck as much as I did at this, it just starts to do it for you, thank God. But then you money please the Reality Stone, and then on to the next mission, the Watcher introduces you to a world with no Captain America.
Here, in this alternate reality, World War II never ended. Instead, the Allied nations disbanded. And with every country now out for themselves, one discovered a power that could alter the fate of this universe.
So in this reality, the experiment that turned Steve Rogers into Captain America had a freak reaction like what Johann Schmidt had to become Red Skull, which would mean that the serum was either unrefined from Abraham Erskine, or maybe there was some darkness in the heart of this Steve. Based on this map, it looks like this base is in Eastern Russia, or maybe what would have been behind the Soviet line during World War II, but this is snowier and far more tundra-like than Eastern Russia would normally is. This is like Siberia, because this is the Hydra base from Civil War. This bandaged figure approaches the Power Stone, recalling Peter Quill on Morag in Guardians of the Galaxy. A shield is thrown at him, but he catches and returns it, just like Bucky does to Steve in Captain America Winter Soldier, but this is thrown to Alexei Shostakov, Red Guardian.
The Power Stone makes monsters out of men.
Must be proud then.
So in this fight, you have to use telekinesis to pull out these power cores. Steve gets the Power Stone orb, but then gets distracted when he sees one of the Winter Soldiers in the tank.
It's him. It can't be. How?
Yes, that is Bucky Barnes inside the tank. You can see his long hair and his metal arm, but then you money please the Power Stone, and now you can turn your arm into a fist and fire rapid fire blasts at the turrets, and then you seal up Red Skull Steve in the Soul Stone.
Believe it or not, but this is the second reactor that's almost blown up under my watch.
Did Alexei cause Chernobyl? At the dawn of the internet, if you wanted a good-looking website, you had to know how to code. It was truly the Dark Ages, but now it's easier than ever to make your own website and make it look great thanks to Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that provides you with everything you need to do whatever you need with your website. For instance, Squarespace makes it easy to sell merch. You can design your products, then save time and money by letting Squarespace handle production, inventory, and shipping. And if you're selling any other kind of physical goods, digital goods, or even a service, Squarespace makes it easy to build your storefront and grow your business. Squarespace is a massive asset library with everything you could possibly need, whether you're building your first website or polishing up one you've already got. Squarespace makes it super easy to customize your look, update content, and add features to make your website work exactly the way you want it to. Just head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/newrockstars to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. But then Wong tells you that the time stone was stolen, and he takes you to nowhere, Taneleer Tavon's compound, looking as it did in What If Season 1 Episode 2. The thief of the time stone is young Hela.
No, the wizard didn't even notice.
You give me this stone, I return to you your most valuable possession.
Oh, it's Fenris, Hela's wolf as a pup. So this must be way earlier in both her and the Collector's lives. The Collector is an Elder of the Universe, and Elders of the Universe are old. Hela hands him the Eye of Agamotto, and he does that little shimmy that he does in the What If episode that Benicio del Toro did in Guardians of the Galaxy when he was looking at the Power Stone orb. Now, I looked around at all of these crates trying to, who's that Pokemon? Some of the shapes, but I didn't see Howard the Duck earlier, but I did see one that looks like the form of adult Groot. Wong teaches you how to cast a sling ring portal. Hela and Tavon spot Wong.
It's the wizard.
Wizard? I didn't train for a year in the Nightmare Dimension just to be called Wizard. I am Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme. Interesting. So we haven't seen the Nightmare Dimension in the MCU, only the Dark Dimension, but that exists beyond time. Wong is Sorcerer Supreme, despite mentioning the Ancient One earlier. So is the Ancient One retired? Is he like worried about her ghost? Because he does have this joke later where he says, my ghost will haunt your ghosts. Hela fights Tavon's guides with Mjolnir. There is a way too long segment where you have to descend on a crate blasting wave after wave after wave of Tavon's guys. And then Tavon uses blasters and boot thrusters that might look familiar because these are Peter Quill's element guns from Guardians of the Galaxy and the rocket boots that Peter uses. So presumably got these after Tavon hawked them because they don't seem to work very well for him. Then you money please the time stone, and I love this part because Wong won't tell you how to use it. You just kind of have to instinctively rotate your hand, and the magic of the time stone rewinds Fenris's wound. It's like the game devs all knew that we would just know how to do this to save a doggy. Then the Watcher returns, but is it the Watcher?
What good is power if we can't even save the ones we hold dearest?
Ah, the Watcher's voice intercuts with a female voice, and we are reminded of Vision's opening words.
How far would you go to protect what you hold dear?
Sure enough, the Watcher was an imposter all this time, a form taken by Wanda Maximoff.
The multiverse is already broken. With these, I can build a better one. A perfect one. Haven't you ever dreamed of a second chance?
Mama! Wanda seals up Wong and Hela and you in the Soul Stone. Soul World looks exactly as it does in Infinity War when Thanos goes there, and I love that the timing of this game just gives you a moment to take it in because it is super surreal. It's very creepy and kind of like relaxing to be there. Vision appears and offers you a new perspective with 3 landmarks: the Asgardian throne, the SSR Vita Ray tank, and then this dead tree. The throne tells us Hela's story, how Odin actually wanted a warrior, not a daughter, and made her give up Fenris, so she snuck out and struck a deal with the Collector. So her goal is to save Fenris. The Vita Ray tank tells us Steve's real story, how the Allies rushed their experiment leading to the accident, and he didn't fit their image of a perfect super soldier, so he leaves the cap mask in a bin, framing that looks a lot like Spider-Man leaving his suit in the garbage bin in the Spider-Man No More comic cover. Steve's mission is now to just save his friend Bucky. The tree takes you to the ruins of Titan as the ecosystem is dying from overpopulation, too many mouths. Thanos explains the council called him mad for stealing the reality stone.
But true madness would have been to see all this death and do nothing.
That's right, Thanos did nothing wrong. His mission is to save Titan. I love how inside of the Soul Stone, that's where you're able to see the souls inside of all these villains. Vision says how our devotions can turn into obsession and then tells his story. He and Wanda picnic like Carl Fredricksen and Ellie in Pixar's Up.
But then the Mind Stone began to die, taking me with it. No matter what we tried, there was no cure. My death was a constant, an absolute point.
The Mind Stone began to die? That's interesting, because it kind of seems like he's saying Infinity Stones have a natural decay cycle. Or maybe he's just saying his body eventually couldn't continue to house the stone, that eventually that cosmic radiation began to wear away the flesh and the vibranium atoms. And he says his death is an absolute point, making his death what Christine Palmer's death was to Strange Supreme and What If. And that might be why we keep seeing Vision die so many different times in the MCU. So Wong brings back his statue with the Book of Agamotto, and then he followed the hands to do a series of fun spells to break free from Soul World. And then we find ourselves in the early stages of Wanda's new multiverse. And it looks like it's borrowing imagery from the Sacred Timeline and Loki, as well as the ending of Loki season 2, like some elements of the Yggdrasil shape of the one that Loki, God of Stories, created. And Wanda says,
"Did you know that mosquitoes serve no real purpose? And in my new multiverse, gone."
Yeah, Wanda, you're wrong. Mosquitoes are part of the ecosystem and the food chain. If they were to go extinct, lots of species would die, like bats. Bats eat mosquitoes. And then there's plenty of other organisms that require mosquitoes for pollination. So it's not like all those cicadas that are everywhere in Missouri and Illinois. It's like, we actually do need mosquitoes. Now, this final battle is a lot of fun. They give you this bowstring to fire a mystic arrow with the Space Stone. A bit later, Steve tells you to ricochet a blast with a Power Stone off his shield, and you feel like Iron Man in Avengers 2012 when they do that move. But then Hela's able to break the Time Stone free from Wanda.
Quick, the Time Stone! Grab it!
None of that.
Yeah, it is super terrifying to have Wanda fly up into your face like that. But then you blast a series of these broken crags to hijack them as Infinity Stones, and together they all zap Wanda to fracture her power across the multiverse. So you've won the battle, and Vision gives up his Mind Stone to return to Soul World, and he turns gray, like anytime we've seen Vision die, and then Wanda willingly goes with him, so you trap the two of them together. The Watcher now gives you two options.
Defy destiny and use the power of the Infinity Stones to intervene in your own fate and that of your allies, altering reality or destroy the stones. Resist their temptation and allow the multiverse to continue its natural course.
You look at which one you want and you snap your fingers, and it feels so powerful to snap your fingers. I picked, of course, use the stones. And then an epilogue explains that Thanos used the Reality Stone to revive Titan, but then he sets out to conquer the universe. Steve gave the Power Stone to S.H.I.E.L.D. to end the war, but then Thaddeus Ross plugs it in to unleash super soldiers in America. And then Hela frees Fenris, but then returns atop Fenris to Asgard as a conqueror to attack Odin. Whoops! So we end with this little scene.
As for you, you've made a dangerous choice creating a new timeline with unforeseen repercussions. And I'm not the only one watching.
Hey, y'all.
Miss Minutes.
Don't you just love that new timeline smell?
I didn't expect to see you again so soon.
Now, don't let this big galoo get you down about your choices. Though he's right. Timelines have been getting a bit tangled up lately. Continuity errors, like you, are popping up all over the place.
What are you going to do to them?
Well, pruning this branch and being done with it is the right way to do things.
No, wait. They are the, hero of the multiverse.
Ooh, settle down, big fella. And that's a dumb name. The TVA has gone through a bit of a reorg. So, let me introduce you to your new co-worker.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
My eyes are over here. There you go.
Oh my.
Give yourself permission. Surrender to it.
Again.
Slide into my DM.
I'm sorry.
That's right. Just lose ourselves in tangled sheets and bodies. We'll ignore each other at work for 4 or 5 days, and then we'll come back hungry.
So, instead of deleting you from all existence, we're gonna put you to work. Now, I don't need a hero, per se. What I need is an agent. You ready for a little more fun? Then here we go.
Amazing. Also, a really fun Easter egg that I found on the computer screen that Miss Minutes has is the multiple choice question from Loki episode 2 about Thanos has many apples, which was the show's different ways of explaining time travel. And I actually met one of the designers who put in that Easter egg and interviewed him on New Rockstars. Now, by the way, I also played this another time and chose Destroy the Stones, and you do get happier endings for all the characters, but there's no Miss Minutes in Deadpool. Interesting. So this tells us that the TVA in the movie Deadpool and Wolverine that is now overseen by Mr. Paradox is what Miss Minutes calls a reorg. I think that means that Paradox might be like a hostile force from within the ranks who overturned the peace that was arrived at the end of Loki season 2. Maybe Paradox is a longtime employee who just didn't like that revolution and then staged a coup, a hostile takeover to restore it to its original oppressive force. Either way, I'm almost certain after watching this clip that Paradox is going to be the villain of Deadpool and Wolverine. I think perhaps the biggest delight I had while going through this immersive experience is in the end while looking at the credits, written by Phil McCarty and David Dong. These are two college buddies of mine. Dave and I were on an improv group called the Sunday Group in Theater Strike Force, and Phil and I were on a musical improv group called AM Radio. They're both extremely talented, obviously very creative people, and I knew that Dave was working on something Marvel related, but he could never tell me even what it was. Now I get it. How would you even describe this? Either way, huge congrats, guys. I'm so proud of you. Amazing work on this. And a huge thanks to everyone at Apple and ILM Immersive for giving me this opportunity to watch this and to break it down. Subscribe to all 3 channels in the New Rockstars network. Follow me at EA Voss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.